Hello! In this video, we'll guide you through the effortless integration process between your Business Central environment and WooCommerce web store. So get ready to revolutionize your online business with the power of new WooCommerce connector. Skip the tedious manual process of updating your inventory, customers, and sales transactions and head over to the Business Central App Store to download and install Synfynal's WooCommerce connector app, where you can simply use the link in the description of this video. Now, once the app is installed, let's dive into the setup process. Click on the new notification that appears in your role center, or open up your assisted setup list and look for the option that says Set up WooCommerce connector. This is where the integration setup begins. Click on it, and voila! A new window appears, signaling the start of your WooCommerce integration. As the setup unfolds, you will experience the thrill of automated bidirectional integration between your inventory, customers, and sales orders across both systems. We'll say goodbye to manual data transfer and hello to seamless synchronization. Our trusty wizard will guide you through the initial steps. First up, we need to provide the URL of your web store homepage. We also need to make sure to obtain consumer key and consumer secret from your WooCommerce backend REST API settings with read-write permissions for the Business Central authentication to work. Once you got those, simply copy and paste them into the setup wizard. Now, click Next, and we'll perform a quick connection test to ensure communication is running smoothly between your Business Central environment and your web store. Once the communication is checked, you can continue by configuring bidirectional synchronization options for item categories. We have the power to choose how categories flow between two systems. For the push web store item categories, use Mapped Only to send changes for selected records only from Business Central to WooCommerce, or None to keep them separated. Vice versa, use Pull web store item categories to select if record updates are synced from WooCommerce to Business Central. If you selected Mapped Only, go to the record mapping to use our smart mapping page to select which BC item categories are going to be used online. This will open a list of available item categories with the option to check which one will be synced by checking using Web Store flag. Mark all the records you would like to see. Meanwhile, on the rightmost side of a page, you can see additional information about the latest success and error logs from the synchronization process, but also current number of Web Store categories. You can drill down and see the actual records that match your current data from WooCommerce. So, what happens if you already have same category in both systems? We have the option to map records between two systems in order to avoid creating duplicates. If you already have existing matching records in your web store, we'll help you map them seamlessly by selecting corresponding web store ID. You can try clicking Web Store and then call the Suggest Item Category Mapping action, and system will do the job for you, saving you time and effort. This smart mapping utility will pair any BC and WooCommerce categories based on their name. Now, let's add a couple more new Business Central categories that we'd like to push to the web store as well. To invoke the synchronization between the records manually, simply navigate to Synchronize action. Once the process is complete, note how new categories are successfully created in WooCommerce. You can easily confirm this by drilling down into the web store categories information field, or by refreshing the online list and seeing all the new records neatly organized in their proper hierarchy. Also, don't forget to keep an eye on the right side of your screen, where the latest success and error logs are now updated, allowing you to inspect them in case of any issues. Once you're done and item categories are perfectly aligned, easily return to Assisted Setup by closing the Item Category Mapping page. Next step is related to items. Here you have the option to select default item template that will be used whenever newly created web store item flows to Business Central. Note that these values can be updated after sync on each item. In case you have a dedicated location for the web store inventory in Business Central, select that as a default location code. If assigned, this location code will be used for determining the available inventory and will be assigned as location code on incoming web store sales orders. It's important to set the option for items web store regular price. We can specify the source for item regular price as a unit price. In this case, web store regular price is set at the item card level as the unit price in Business Central, or customer price group, where regular price in web store is determined based on the specific customer price group in Business Central. We also support if you want to use marketing text as a product long or short description for your web store. With Copilot, you can quickly get a text suggestion that's automatically generated for you and sync that to WooCommerce as either the product long or product short description. The AI-generated text is tailored to the item and provides a good starting point for your product's online description. Similarly, as in previous step, you get to configure the bidirectional synchronization options for items and choose how the updates flow between the systems. We'll go to record mapping again, but this time for items. We'll use our smart mapping page to select which Business Central items are going to be used in the web store. You're already familiar with the smart mapping functionalities of the page, so start by selecting which items are used in the web store. Map any existing records between two systems in order to avoid creating duplicates. Or to speed up, use Smart Mapping utility that will pair items with their existing web store record based on their names. Now, let's talk inventory levels and prices. For items that you would like to push inventory levels from Business Central to WooCommerce, make sure you select Manage Stock on Web Store. This will make sure that online stock management will be updated with current inventory values from Business Central. On the rightmost side of a page, under Item Details, you can already see the available inventory, which takes into account any reserved quantities from new orders, making sure you don't sell items that are already promised to other customers. Above the inventory, you have the control to define and update prices. Use unit price as a main regular price for item card, or even set optional special sales price for the certain period. We can also use AI-powered writing assistance to generate product descriptions on items sold in online shops using Business Central marketing text. With the click of a button, Copilot generates text that's engaging and creative, and it highlights key attributes of the specific item. During the setup, you can invoke manual synchronization of items for only selected records to verify the flow of data. Run the Synchronize Selected Items action and notice that the changes in the item price and inventory for selected records are transferred to the web store once completed. Other values display under Item Details for the selected record, such as status, product type, item category, featured, etc., are all synchronized between two systems. In order to change these values, use Item Card page, where you'll have the option to edit properties, and under Web Store tab, you'll find some of the web store specific fields, such as product status, type, and dimensions. If you're selling products in multiple variations, we got you covered as well. We can define variations in both Business Central and WooCommerce to manage and sell multiple variations of a product without the need to create separate items entries for each variant, and still be able to have accurate tracking of stock levels, pricing, and sales data for each specific variant. We can define product variants in WooCommerce and then sync them to Business Central, or define them in Business Central and then sync them to WooCommerce. The process is similar. If, for example, you have the furniture store that sells lamps that come in different colors, start by assigning available color values on item level by opening Web Store Attribute page. Attribute color should be specified for use for variations and add values for color that you'll use to define lamp variations of different color. Then, start creating actual variants for desired item by opening Item Variant page. Based on the attribute values, we can run create item variants action, which will generate variants based on the attribute values. We can define multiple different attribute values combinations on item level that can be used for creating variants. To verify how these specific changes will sync to WebStore, you can click Synchronize Item with Variants and see how recently updated values reflect in your online store. Don't worry. At the end of the setup, automated jobs will be created that will transfer these updates periodically for all selected items. Once we are done with the inventory sync options and mapping, let's shift our focus to another critical aspect of your business: customers. Let's go to the next step of the assisted setup and configure customer synchronization. We first need to select a customer template. The specified template will be used for assigning default values to any new WebStore customers that flows to Business Central as a result of the synchronization process. Most importantly, the created customer in Business Central will receive posting details from the template, such as General Business Posting Group, VIT Business Posting Group, and Customer Posting Group. You also have the option to select a customer number to specify a single umbrella guest customer record that, if specified, will be used for billing information on all orders submitted by unregistered guest accounts from the web store. And lastly, here we can also select options for bidirectional synchronization options for customers. Now, let's jump into the Smart Mapping tool for customers. Mapping tool for customers also supports assigning WebStore ID for any existing customers in the web store. And also, you can use Suggest Customer Mapping that will pair any existing records between two systems based on email or name. If you want to create a web store customer for an existing BC record, you'll need to enter their credentials first. Specify their username and password, and then mark them as a web store customer. Once synchronized, the customer record with their details will be created in WooCommerce, and customer will receive an invite on their email. You can synchronize customers manually by triggering Synchronize action or let it sync automatically once the sync jobs are enabled at the end of the process. After wrapping up the customer setup, let's transition to the most exciting phase. In this step, you gain the flexibility to cherry-pick the start date when you want the WooCommerce connector to sync orders from. As mentioned here, if you already entered orders from WooCommerce into Business Central through December 31st, you would select January 1st as the first date you'd like orders to sync. You can leave it blank and it will basically sync all orders. You can optionally designate the GL account numbers, sales tax account number to post the total VIT amount, and shipping account number to post the total shipping amount from the web store sales orders. If specified, these amounts will be added as separate order lines during synchronization and will be posted on designated accounts. As you approach the final step of the setup, you can tailor how frequently you want synchronization to unfold. By default, it's finely tuned to 15-minute intervals. On this concluding step, opt for Enable, allowing periodic background jobs to maintain data harmony between the two platforms, respecting all the previous steps. With everything in place, a decisive click on Finish will save the configuration and concludes this setup journey. Now, let's dive into the joy of viewing and managing your synced web store orders. To view your sync orders, head to the Orders queue for the configured store. Alternatively, choose Sales Order under the Web Store menu for a direct route to the document list. Each order is neatly displayed with crucial details to keep you in the loop. Based on your established business process, you can then process each order, whether you prefer inspecting the document yourself, routing it for approval, or simply directly posting it. As a bonus, our synchronization job for items ensures that the inventory values for the order items are accurately updated in your web store. No need to worry about manual adjustments. The system takes care of the nitty-gritty details for you. If you ever need to revisit or tweak your configurations, managing your WooCommerce connector setups, head over to the web stores directly from the menu, which is accessible whether you're in Business Manager or Sales Orders Processor roles. Here, you can view the synchronization details for each web store, with insights into current records included in synchronization with provided logs and errors reports. There's also a status indicator for ongoing synchronization jobs. The last sync section will display when were the last synchronization jobs executed for different record type. To make adjustments or revisit your web store connector setup, open the respective card page. Our user-friendly interface ensures that all configurations made through the wizard are accessible. But that's not all. You can fine-tune additional options, such as activity log retention period, where you can specify the number of days to keep synchronization activity logs in the activity logs table. You have the option to customize number series being used for new web store orders per store. Control the default document and posting date being assigned to newly created web store orders. Specifies whether to mark web store sales order as completed when invoiced, or set the online order status filter for synchronization orders from the web store of certain status only. In case you want to add a connection to additional WooCommerce store, head back to the web store list, hit New, or under Connection, click Add Store to use the wizard. You'll be guided through the familiar assisted setup steps, ensuring seamless integration for your new web store. Are you ready to take your e-commerce game to new heights with WooCommerce Connector? Get your business in sync and watch the sales pour in by visiting Synfynal.com and start now. Thanks for watching.